Hey there, everybody. It's your old pal Michael. Welcome to another special edition of Sports Talk, Super Bowl edition once again. We're talking about today the top 5 plays in Super Bowl history. Once again, my opinion. We all have differing opinions of what were the top 5 plays in Super Bowl history. And of course, there have been many, many plays that have transpired over the 49 Super Bowls that have taken place. So without further ado, let's get to the list. The fifth best play of all time in the Super Bowl, in my opinion, is the Percy Harvin third quarter kick return for a touchdown. That was in Super Bowl 48 against the Denver Broncos. So to start the second half of that game, Seahawks were up 22-0. Denver was kicking off to Seattle. Denver could stop them and score. Maybe they're back in the game. So Denver decides to kick the ball short. The ball actually bounces around, and then Percy Harvin picked it up and ran all the way back for a touchdown. So it wasn't just that conventional kickoff where, you receive it deep and you return it. It was, the one that kind of bounces around a little bit, and he picked it up and ran it back. They were actually trying to keep it away from him, and that basically put a nail in the coffin for the Broncos and gave the Seahawks the victory. Of course, there was a lot of other things that led to the Seahawks victory, but that was the one that really kind of broke the camel's back, as you would say. The fourth best play in Super Bowl history, going to go with the John Elway helicopter dive in Super Bowl 32. This was one of John Elway's last Super Bowls. He played in the one the year after, had an easier time actually in that one, being the Falcons, 33-19. In this one, Green Bay was an 11-point favorite over Denver. They were defending Super Bowl champions with Brett Favre at the helm, and they were looking to beat the Broncos. And the Broncos, of course, had never won a Super Bowl in the history that they've been there. This year, actually, in 2016, Super Bowl 50, this is the Broncos' 8th trip to the Super Bowl all time, and they're 2-5 in those games. They're looking to improve to a 3-5 mark. So at this time, Denver had never been to a Super Bowl, or never won a Super Bowl. And John Elway was looking like he was going to go down as one of the top quarterbacks in NFL history never to win a Super Bowl. And just to show you how much this guy wanted to win, John always was scrambling, trying to pick up a first down, and ended up diving in midair, and a Green Bay defender hits him from behind, so his legs end up spinning. So his whole body spins and has end up turned around completely. So, think about like a helicopter blade, how it starts here and turns. That's basically how it ended up. His legs ended up in front of him as he was diving head first. So it was that just shows you right there. I mean, this guy wanted to win the Super Bowl before he retired. And they were able to do it, as they were able to actually beat Green Bay in that game 24-21. The third best play in Super Bowl history, in my opinion, Super Bowl 48, the Malcolm Butler interception to seal the deal for the Patriots against the Seahawks. So after Jermaine Kearse comes up with a huge catch where he's laying on his back and catches the ball, that could have actually been one of the greatest plays. But I didn't put it in this top 5 because of the fact it did not lead to a Seattle score for the victory. So that's why the Malcolm Butler interception is in here instead. So the Seahawks are down at the 1-yard line, and you have Marshawn Lynch in your backfield. And he's powerful, hard to tackle, and he should be able to easily get a yard and get in. And instead of handing the ball off to him, Russell Wilson drops back to pass, and almost instantaneously, Malcolm Butler and the Seattle Seahawks receiver collide, and Butler was able to maintain possession of the ball, pick it off, and give the Patriots a victory. Just when it looked like Tom Brady was going to lose another Super Bowl in heartbreaking fashion, the Patriots walked away with it after that one. Stole. Let me see if I can talk here. They stole defeat out of the jaws of victory. That's actually what the Seahawks did. Yeah. So that was, in my opinion, the third greatest play in Super Bowl history. The second greatest play, James Harrison's 100-yard return for a touchdown in Super Bowl 43. This was the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals were looking to go in for a touchdown right before halftime. Kurt Warner dropped back to pass, threw out to his left side, but James Harrison was there to pick it off. And then he just started running down the sideline, got key blocks, broke some tackles, dodged players, and ended up being tackled into the end zone. And that it was the final play of the first half, was James Harrison's 100-yard return for a touchdown. Cardinals were actually able to get the lead in that game again before Santonio Holmes caught a pass in the end zone in the final seconds of the fourth quarter to give the Steelers the lead for good. But that James Harrison 100-yard touchdown was just simply amazing because it wasn't a speed guy like a cornerback, a safety that picked it off and ran all the way back. I mean, where James Harrison, was a different player. I mean, I believe he was a linebacker that picked this pass off. So, linebackers are fast, but not entirely fast. And for him to scramble down the sideline like that was simply incredible, to go 100 yards and to dodge all those players. And the number one play in Super Bowl history goes to David Tyree with his catch in Super Bowl 42, the catch off the helmet. We all remember that play. Basically, that was Tyree's 15 minutes of fame. As actually, in later years, he actually got cut by the Giants. But on this play, the Patriots had a chance to sack Eli Manning in the backfield. They were unable to do so as Manning was able to scramble out of the pocket, and then he just chucked the ball downfield. And somehow David Tyree was able to hold onto the ball against his helmet, basically gripping it with one hand. He had one hand, had the ball pinned against his helmet, and he had his other hand supporting it on the other side. And he comes down and hits the ground, and the ball still stayed right there against his helmet. And that, in my opinion, is the top play in Super Bowl history of the David Tyree catch, because the reason why it led to the score for the New York Giants. If think about it, the Giants actually didn't score on that drive and were unable to do it and beat the Patriots, then it would have just been a great catch. And it might not have gone down, in my opinion, as the greatest play in Super Bowl history. That's why the Jermaine Kearse catch is not on this list, is because of the fact it did not lead to a Seattle score. So, that's my top 5 plays in Super Bowl history. What are some of your best plays that you can remember in Super Bowl history? Comment down in the comment section below. So that'll do it for this edition of Sports Talk Super Bowl edition. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, subscribe to my channel for more content. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Links are in the description below. We'll be back with you on Saturday for the final edition of the Super Bowl special of Sports Talk. We'll be talking about the top 5 blunders in Super Bowl history. So this is Michael Loudon, over and out.